Assalamu alaikum. This is Kimia Orin welcoming you to Morning News. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman called for continued U.S. investment in Bangladesh, particularly in warehousing, soybean, cotton, wheat, and the information technology sector. The Premier made the call when visiting U.S. President's Special Envoy for South and Central Asia, Sergio Gore, paid a courtesy call on him at the Prime Minister's office in Tejka yesterday. The two sides discussed bilateral relations, trade and investment, regional cooperation, and other issues of mutual interest during the meeting. The meeting was held in a warm and cordial atmosphere. The Prime Minister invited U.S. investment in warehousing, soybean, cotton, wheat, and other agricultural sectors, saying such investments would help build a strong and competitive supply chain. The two sides also exchanged views on investment opportunities through the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation (DFC). The Prime Minister urged the United States to continue its investment in Bangladesh, while the special envoy said Washington would work positively to expand DFC investment cooperation in the country. Sergio Gore also informed the Prime Minister that U.S. investors in Dhaka are keen to organize a U.S. investor summit in Bangladesh in the near future and that he is personally working to facilitate the initiative. The proposed visit of a delegation from the U.S. Bangladesh Business Council to Bangladesh next month also came up for discussion. The meeting also discussed expanding cooperation between Bangladesh and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA). Sergio Gore assured the Prime Minister that he would support the resumption of FDA inspection activities in Bangladesh. During the meeting, Gore highly appreciated Prime Minister Tariq Rahman's leadership, saying stability is being firm to Bangladesh under his leadership. As an indication of this, he said, the United States has positively revised its travel advisory for Bangladesh, which would send an important message to U.S. investors that the country is now ready for investment. The special envoy said Bangladesh has significant potential in the IT sector and could become a partner in the Pac Silica initiative in the future. He also assured the Prime Minister that he would take initiatives in this regard. The Rohingya crisis was also featured in the discussions. Sharing his experience from his visit to the Rohingya camps in Cox's Bazar on Friday, Gore praised the government and people of Bangladesh for providing shelter to the forcibly displaced Myanmar nationals and continuing humanitarian assistance for them. The Prime Minister noted that the United States provides more than half of the international assistance for the Rohingyas and expressed gratitude to the U.S. government and people for their continued support. The special envoy stressed the need for a swift, sustainable, and political solution to the Rohingya crisis and underscored the importance of coordinated efforts involving ASEAN, neighboring countries, and all other relevant stakeholders. Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Khalilur Rahman, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Shama Ubaid Islam, Prime Minister's Advisor on Foreign Affairs Humayun Kobir, Prime Minister's Advisors Mahdi Amin and Rehan Asif Azad, Bangladesh Ambassador to the U.S. Tariq Muhammad Ariful Islam, and U.S. Ambassador to Bangladesh Brent T. Christensen and other senior officials were present at the meeting. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman has emphasized on prioritizing the interests of Bangladesh, the welfare of the people of the country, and further empowering the people. The Prime Minister put this emphasis at a meeting on the private sector held at the Prime Minister's Tejka office yesterday. The meeting was chaired by Prime Minister Tariq Rahman. After the meeting, the Prime Minister's advisor and Prime Minister's office spokesperson Mahdi Amin briefed the journalists. The Prime Minister's additional press secretary Atikur Rahman Rumon was present at the time. Mahdi Amin said that the meeting discussed solutions to the long-term problems of electricity and gas shortages and the development of the energy sector. During this time, Prime Minister Tariq Rahman listened attentively to the problems of the private sector from business leaders and discussed ways to solve it. Mahdi Amin said that the meeting discussed what kind of reforms to the NBR or taxes are needed to increase domestic and foreign investment. He said that the meeting also discussed ways to facilitate investment by removing complications to attract investment in BESA, BEPSA, and economic zones. For many years, many people reportedly spent their days and nights in small windowless rooms with no access to light or fresh air. Those outside had little idea of what was happening within. The Task Force for Interrogation, TFI cell located at the Rapid Action Battalion 1 headquarters in Uttara, widely known as the Aina Ghor, has now been inspected by judges of the International Crimes Tribunal, ICT. On Saturday, a three-member bench of International Crimes Tribunal 1, accompanied by the chief prosecutor, members of the prosecution team, representatives of victims' families and human rights activists, conducted an on-site inspection. The tribunal authorized the judicial inspection following an application submitted by the prosecution in accordance with the law. During the visit, the inspection team found a total of 29 rooms of different sizes. Some measured approximately 5 feet by 10 feet, while others were as small as 2.5 feet by 4 feet. Most of the rooms had no windows or access to natural light and ventilation. The place was designed in such a way that screams or cries from inside could not be heard outside. According to the chief prosecutor, preliminary investigations indicate that current Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed and Barrister Arman were among those allegedly detained at the facility. Chief Prosecutor Mohammad Aminul Islam said that a judicial memorandum would be prepared based on the inspection and incorporated into the case records as part of the evaluation of evidence. He also claimed that more than 250 victims of alleged enforced disappearance remain unaccounted for. Proceedings related to the Aina Ghor detention facility are currently underway before the International Crimes Tribunal. The prosecution believes that the judge's on-site observations and the resulting judicial memorandum will play an important role in assessing the evidence presented in the case. A discussion titled 15 Years of Fascism and the 2024 Mass Uprising and a photo exhibition were held at the Jatiyo Press Club. Bangladesh Photojournalists Association and Amra BNP Poribar jointly organized the program yesterday. Speaking as the chief guest, Information and Broadcasting Minister Zahiruddin Shapon said, a vested quarter is trying to destabilize the country by creating unrest on the streets and spreading rumors on social media. He also accused they are trying to obstruct the development work of the BNP government elected by the people after the anti-autocracy movement. At the same event, Liberation War Affairs Minister Ahmad Azam Khan said BNP Poribar stood by the families of those killed and injured in the July movement and will continue to support them. Prime Minister's Additional Press Secretary Atikur Rahman Ruman said a group is trying to create instability by using the July movement to spread propaganda against the Prime Minister. He said the July movement was led by the people and BNP has never taken sole credit for it. Prime Minister's Deputy Press Secretary Zahidul Islam Roni, Bangladesh Photojournalists Association President, Jatiyo Press Club President and other journalist leaders also addressed the program. The guests later visited the photo exhibition on 15 years of fascism and the 2024 mass uprising. Information and Broadcasting Minister Zahiruddin Shapon has said, spirit of the July 2024 People's Uprising is not an isolated event. Rather, it's an extended and continuous flow of the spirit of the Great Liberation War. The minister said this while speaking as chief guest at a discussion titled Remembering July 2024 at Rawa Club Auditorium in the capital yesterday. July 24 Martyrs Family Association and the Nagori Konto Forum jointly organized the program. The minister called upon all to remain alert so that none can use July mass uprising for their own purpose. The achievements of July must not be broken or distorted in any way, the minister added. Although it's the state's responsibility to properly rehabilitate the martyrs and injured of July 24 movement, it's equally important to uphold the ideals of their sacrifice in both state and social life, noted the Information Minister. President of Private University Teachers Association of Bangladesh, Professor Dr. Mohammad Tawfiqul Islam Mithil presided over this discussion. Parliament members Chaudhry Nawab Naib Yusuf and Mahmouda Habiba, Vice Chancellor of North-South University, Professor Abdul Hannan Chaudhry, and members of the July martyrs' families spoke, among others. Education and Primary and Mass Education Minister Dr. A.N.M. Ihsanul Haq Milan said, there is no alternative to technical education for building a developed Bangladesh. The government, led by Prime Minister Tariq Rahman, has taken a comprehensive plan to transform the country's huge population into human resources, he said. The minister made the remarks as the chief guest at the commemoration of the historic July Mass Uprising and Creative Student Award program held on the Dhaka Polytechnic Institute premises in the capital yesterday. Dr. Milan said, July is a month that will never fade from the memory of the people of the country. Urging students to move beyond the concept of conventional education, the minister said there is huge global demand for skilled manpower with technical education. Chaired by Principal of Dhaka Polytechnic Institute Muhammad Mustafizur Rahman Khan, the program was attended among others by Member of Parliament for Reserve Women's Seat 16 Sanjida Islam Tuli, Director General of the Directorate of Technical Education Abul Khair Muhammad Akas Ali, and Chairman of the Bangladesh Technical Education Board Engineer Muhammad Ruhul Amin as special guests. Jatiyotawadi Chhatro Dol President Muhammad Rakibul Islam Rakib addressed the program as the chief discussant. Moving on to international news. At least 13 people have been killed after a tourist aircraft crashed in southern Peru. Police said the plane went down while flying over the Nazca Lines archaeological area in the country's southern region. The dead included 2 pilots and 11 passengers. Rescue teams and emergency service agencies quickly reached the scene after receiving news of the crash and began rescue operations. The authorities have not yet released detailed information about the identities of the victims. Confirming the tragic accident, a local police official said that the relevant authorities in Peru have already launched an investigation to determine the cause of the crash. At least 3 people have been killed and 21 seriously injured in an explosion caused by a powerful homemade bomb at a popular Italian restaurant near the center of Moscow, the capital of Russia. Russia's state news agency and security forces have confirmed the information. The devastating blast occurred around 8 p.m. local time in a building at Kudrinskaya Square near the heart of Moscow. According to the preliminary investigation by Russia's National Anti-Terrorism Committee, a woman was attempting to enter the restaurant carrying explosives either on her body or in a bag. Security personnel stationed at the entrance became suspicious and stopped her. At that moment, the explosive device detonated. The female attacker, the security guard, and the restaurant guest were killed at the scene. Immediately after the incident, law enforcement authorities temporarily closed the main road surrounding Kudrinskaya Square. Russia's Central Investigative Agency has launched an investigation into the explosion. U.S. President Donald Trump said he has cancelled strikes against Iran provided a deal was struck rapidly with the country. In a post on Truth Social, the U.S. President wrote that he had decided to cancel the attack subject to being able to rapidly make a deal, which would include the immediate opening of the Strait of Hormuz and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. U.S. President said Iran and other countries in the Middle East asked him to hold off any attack as the parameters of a deal has been agreed to, including the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Earlier, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has warned that strict measures will be taken against any aggression by the United States and Israel. During separate telephone conversations with the foreign ministers of Turkey, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia, Araghchi said that Iran would respond firmly and proportionately to any attack by the United States or Israel. He also warned the Persian Gulf countries whose territories or facilities the United States might use to launch attacks on Iran. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump claimed in a post on his social media platform Truth Social that he had destroyed Iran's currency, the rial. In the post, he shared a chart and stated that Iran was facing severe inflation. At the same time, U.S. embassies have issued a new warning for American citizens in the Middle East. A day after President Donald Trump threatened to strike Iran hard, U.S. embassies across the Middle East issued this warning to their citizens about the possibility of unexpected escalation of tensions. Now news on sports. Hosts Bangladesh have been drawn in a relatively easy group alongside Sri Lanka and Bhutan for the SAF Championship scheduled to be held in Dhaka on November next. Bangladesh were placed in Group A, while regional powerhouse India were drawn in Group B with Maldives and Pakistan. The draw was held in Thimphu, Bhutan on Saturday night. As the hosts, Bangladesh were placed in one pot, while India were seeded separately as the highest-ranked team in South Asia, ensuring the two sides could not meet in group stage. Nepal, however, remains absent from the draw after being suspended by FIFA. SAF said it will wait until the stipulated deadline before making a final decision. If FIFA leaves the suspension in time, Nepal will join Group A alongside Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Bhutan. The tournament will be held in Dhaka from November 4 to 17. Bangladesh last hosted the SAF Championship in 2018. The top two teams from each group will advance to the semi-finals. That brings us to the end of the news. Thank you for staying with us. Allah Hafiz.